My name's Marsha Hampton. I am the Assistant City Manager with the City of Douglasville, and I'm here tonight to introduce you to our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is definitely a friend of downtown. Our guest speaker is partly responsible as to why we're in this building today. I know at one point, I'll tell you a little story, when we were trying to get the additional 1% hotel motel tax for this building, it took us about 2 years. He probably thought I was stalking him on the House floor at the state capitol. I really wasn't stalking him. It just so happened that I was down there with another group, and it was a great opportunity for me to say, hey, remember us, we need that additional 1%. Jack Tyson came with me one time too, and we made certain to follow him. But he followed through on his promise to get us that additional 1% hotel motel tax so we could collect the maximum amount, which is the 8%, which just allows us to cover the debt service on this building. So we do thank him and highly appreciate his leadership on that and joining with his fellow colleagues as well to help us to get that additional 1%. Our guest speaker, as I said, is a friend of downtown because he is part of downtown. He is a business owner here. His business is Bill Hembry and Associates Nationwide Insurance, which is right here in downtown Douglasville in the Pope Building. For those of you who don't know which building that is, that's used to be the tallest building, I guess, at one point, which is kind of on the corner, which people kind of knock on me and Stephanie's door and said, hey, why don't you turn that into a hotel? He can come up here and tell you why it could or couldn't be a hotel when he gets ready to speak. He's been located in that building for 4 years, previously at his nationwide location in Kennesaw for 10. He's a lifelong resident of Douglas County, a graduate of Douglas County High School, class of 1984. I hear some of your classmates out there. And also a graduate of Johnson & Wales University in 1989. He married his high school sweetheart, Beth, who is very, very nice if you ever get a chance to meet her, in 1991. He's the father of 3 sons, Will, graduating from Alexander High School in May. Congratulations for that. Twins, Thomas and Mile, who are 12-year-olds. He also served, as I said, in the Georgia House of Representatives from 1992 to 2012. He served as the chairman of higher education, the chairman of the Rules Committee, and the chairman of the Industrial Relations during his tenure at the Georgia House. And he was definitely a friend of us here in Douglas County as well as downtown, and we're honored to have him as a guest speaker, Mr. Bill Hembry.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here. Marcia, thank you for that kind introduction. I really appreciate it. Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you for all your service and the things that you do for this great city of Douglasville. And Bill Osborne and Marcia, thank you guys for the day-to-day jobs that you do in managing the city. I know that that's a very important role. And also Stephanie for organizing the event tonight. It's a great place to be here in downtown Douglasville and at this conference center. We can all be very proud of its existence, and we're very happy to be here in it tonight. I got to tell you a little quick story, though. You know, I'm a small business owner, and we all fear competition, right? You know, we always fear competition. Well, there was this small businessman, an insurance guy like me, an insurance guy. He opened up his business right in a downtown area like Douglasville. Had a great location right downtown. Center of attention, people coming to do business, buy insurance from him every day. The business on the left and right side of him were empty, 2 vacant spaces. But he was okay with that, you know, because everybody knew where he was. Well, one Monday morning, he shows up to his insurance office, and oh no, competition's crept in. Big sign above the business that was next door, the empty space, insurance, best deals in town. He's thinking, oh no, I got an insurance agent right next to me. Big sign that says insurance, best deals in town. Well, he doesn't get too upset about it. He goes home. The next Monday, he comes back to work, and that other space that was on the other side of him, insurance, lowest prices in town. The guy's really upset. You know, competition, you got one on the right and one on the left. He's really upset. Competition is tough these days for the insurance business. So he thinks about it and thinks, maybe I should just go out of business. But no, he's a small businessman. And what do small business people do? They think, right? He says, I'm going to outsmart these guys. So we got best prices in town, insurance, best prices in town on the left, best deals in town for insurance on the right. He goes out and gets the biggest sign in town, the biggest sign that goes over his insurance business. And you know what it says? Main entrance. So that's how you deal with competition. That's how you deal with competition. No, it is, being an entrepreneur and a small business person, you always want to make sure that you're understanding what's happening in the community that you live in. And I feel like I understand Douglas County. I'm happy to say that I lived in the city of Douglasville for 15 years within the city limits. And Dot Paget, who's back there, Dot was my neighbor for 10 years. And we shared some great times. And then Pam Mitchell, who's also back there, Pam was my neighbor for 5 years. And so I have good memories of my 15 years in the city. I moved off out to the country now, but I still hope that you all consider me a citizen of Douglasville because I have good memories, and that's why I chose to open up my business here. But Marcia asked me to talk about some things that I see as far as the economic situation in Douglasville and the state of Georgia. And I believe that the economic development opportunities in the state of Georgia are the best in the country. And I say that because we all see what's happening in Georgia. People are moving to Georgia. Businesses are opening in Georgia. And the reason for that is there's a lot of factors. The government has a good environment. We don't overtax or overregulate the industries. And we try to give incentives and opportunities for business. And it's a good place to be. I mean, you think about what's happened in recent years with the Kia plant. If you've been down I-85 on the way to Birmingham and you've seen that Kia plant, that's really a great image of what you can do in bringing the international business Kia from South Korea over here to the United States, creating thousands of jobs, almost 2,000 jobs there. So I think that's a great opportunity that we can brag about here in Georgia. Even today, in Athens, Caterpillar is moving dirt to build a new facility there, and Caterpillar is an American company. If you just drive down I-20, I just noticed the other day, I'd forgotten, you know, if you go out into West Georgia, Honda has an operation plant out near Tallapoosa, and that's where we're trying to, you know, bring companies, whether they're international or Georgia or U.S. companies, to get them to locate here. But we also have some great names that you all know, UPS. World headquarters here in Georgia. Coca-Cola, world headquarters here in Georgia. Georgia Pacific, they've been sold, but they still have a huge presence here in the state. And of course, Delta Airlines here as the base and home in Georgia, and the Southern Company. But I believe that really the main focus of why Georgia has always been a cradle for business is its location. If you think about where we are geographically in the United States, we're at the center point where trade can move from Europe, North America, South America. And Georgia just happens to be in a great place. And the leaders of this state and the city of Atlanta had the foresight to build an airport and to make that airport a premier airport, which is the largest in the world. And to me, that is what you need to do. You need to have a transportation hub. You need to be identified as something. And now the world knows Atlanta, not just because of the Olympics. The world knows Atlanta is because you can get on an airplane at Hartsfield and fly anywhere in the world. And that's what businesses in this day and time need to be able to do. So more than anything, I think that transportation hub is the key to success here in the state of Georgia. And as long as we have the foresight, and we do, I think there's 5 runways now. Delta is expanding. We've allowed Southwest to merge with AirTran, so you've got that domestic hub as well as the international hub. So we're going to continue to have an international presence in the state of Georgia because of that airport. And why are we fortunate here in Douglas County? Because we're real close. We're very close, and we're one of the best kept secrets, I've always said, because we're so close to downtown Atlanta and we're so close to the airport. So as a business owner myself, speaking to business owners, I think the climate is wonderful. And I think if you just look at the areas around us, I mean, I don't know if you've been to Birmingham lately or been to Columbia, South Carolina lately, or, you know, there's just not as much happening there. I mean, I don't say that in a negative way, but it's just a fact. And we as a state move forward, and we wanted to make sure that we stayed at the forefront. So I think that as long as transportation with airlines is going to be the basis for the economies that we live in, and the world's a smaller place, you know that, then we're always going to be at the top. And I think that's a real great position for us to be in compared to our neighboring states. Now, from a business standpoint and from a government standpoint, government always offers these incentives, which I just told you about with Kia and with Honda. And, sometimes that doesn't help us, the small business people. We try to every day work and make things happen in our communities, and we don't always get the incentives that, say, a Kia would get or the incentives that a Honda would get. But the key to what makes us successful is we're entrepreneurs. And we have a drive in our hearts and in our minds that we want to succeed as business people. And we have an idea or a concept that we want to make work. And that's what the fundamental a success story of America is that you have the small business person out there every day, maybe not getting the incentives to build a new building or maybe not getting the tax breaks, but they're in the United States of America, which is the land of opportunity for the world. And you can be anybody you want to be in this country. And you can be anybody that you want to be in the state of Georgia. And Douglas County and Douglasville offers you a place to do what you can do and do it best. And so I think that's just the basis of why we're going to be successful in the future. My experience in doing business downtown Douglasville has been great. As Marcia said, I've been here for 4 years. I moved from Kennesaw. You always heard Kennesaw, that was the hub, and I was there for 10 years. But I decided that I wanted to move closer and move home, and I've just been delighted with what's happened here in downtown Douglasville. In the beginnings, the parking, as always, if you as small business owners, that was always an issue, trying to find a parking space or waiting for that person to move out of the parking space so that you could partially parallel park. But we dealt with that. And this conference center is really the basis. That parking is critical. I mean, this is wonderful, this is lovely, this is great, but having that access to parking, I mean, that was by far, I think, one of the major accomplishments for this whole project. It's interesting in this day and time because of my business. 80% of my business in the insurance field is done over the internet. So, I don't always have to have a huge storefront because I do a lot of things on the internet. So what makes it nice for me is I can have a good business environment like the city of Douglasville. I can operate on the second floor of what I call the skyscraper. It is the Douglasville skyscraper. The clock tower has us beat now, but I still consider it the skyscraper. Just so you know, it was if you come up to visit me, you can only get up there by elevator. And it's the oldest elevator in the city of Douglasville. So I promise you, if you yell real hard and knock, then I'll turn the emergency light on for you in case you get stuck. That's happened a few times. And that's why I recommend that you don't move any operations there. But it's interesting how business has changed. We all are entrepreneurs and we're trying to move forward, but times have changed and you've got to be able to mold your business in the times that have changed. And with us, it's the internet. And in my situation, the office in Kennesaw, I had a satellite office in Conyers. And it just was too expensive. The cost of opening up multiple satellites and multiple locations, the overhead, it just made more sense to consolidate, have more employees in one place that you can oversee and do basically the same thing. Because in this day and time, with so much done over the internet or by computer, and in many cases, we don't see the people. I have customers in Missouri that I've never met. I have customers in South Carolina that I've never met. I have customers in Texas that I've never met. But we talk and we communicate, and they're just as happy as can be that I'm operating out of Douglasville, Georgia. So the times have changed, and we've got to be able to change with it. But you've got to be able to, as a small business person, deal with that. And, as I said, like that small business person, you've got to be able to think. And I think that's what makes entrepreneurs and small business people special, because they are the thinkers of this country. As Bill Gates, he was smart, very brilliant guy. The Apple guy, very smart, very brilliant. But most millionaires, the average GPA is of a millionaire? 2.3. So they're the people that may not be the geniuses like a Bill Gates, but they're the people who work every day. They have an idea, they work hard every day, they're motivated because they know that they can make their life better, they can leave a legacy for their children, and they can make an impact on their community. And I think that's the key. because, the future of small business in this country, I think, is great. Two places that I would encourage you to go to if you have a little bit of downtime or if you feel like that you need to get motivated to be an entrepreneur. Go to New York City and go to Hong Kong. I've been to both places. I lived overseas, and I can't explain to you how exciting it is to be in a place like Hong Kong. China, it's a communist country. But every day, the business community wakes up in that town and they do their business. They communicate, they trade, they present business ideas. They don't think about the government. They think about how they can make a better life for themselves. And that's what we are as a country. New York City, if you've been to New York City, I tell you, it's exciting. Because as you walk down the street, whether somebody's trying to sell you a diamond, or somebody's trying to sell you a t-shirt, or somebody's trying to sell you a tour of the Statue of Liberty, you're going to get somebody that's trying to sell you something and tell you something. And to me, that's exciting because that's who we are. That's who we are. That's who we are as Americans. We're out there every day as small business people, and those two cities, I would say, they are the foundation of who human beings are when we're trying to make a community and a society a better place. Because you've got to have business. You've got to have business. Government can't do everything. It's the businesses that make this state, this city, and this country work. So I just encourage you to keep fighting every day, make a difference in your community, and realize that what you're doing every day is worthwhile. Because you know what? They've been doing it for thousands of years. You're just stepping in the shoes of those people who've stepped up each and every day throughout history. And you're great. You're unique. Pat yourselves on the back because it takes a lot of heart. It takes a lot of wisdom. It takes a lot of hard work. And it takes a lot of commitment from your family and yourself to make something happen. But if you believe in your ideas and believe in yourself, you can do that. So I just encourage you to believe in the free enterprise system, believe in this country, because the sky's the limit. And I say that the opportunities here in Douglasville, the opportunities in Georgia, and the opportunities in this great state are limitless. Thank y'all so much. Have a good night.
Mr. Hembry, on behalf of the Downtown Development Authority, we have a small speaker gift for you, and we really appreciate you coming out tonight. It's not that small. We'd like to proceed with the rest of our program tonight. We're going to move into the awards ceremony of our Downtown Recognition Banquet, and this is one of my favorite parts of the evening. Our Downtown Recognition Banquet began as a means of paying tribute to the hard work of our businesses in our downtown area and in the downtown development service area. And each year we have a vote that we put out to the public, and they select the businesses that meet the categories. So we're going to begin tonight, and our first presenter is going to be Barry Oliver.
Good evening. The 2013 DDA Service Area Best 4 to 9-Year-Old Business nominees are Uptown Dental, Miller Architecture, Royal Fades, Salon 391, J&T Wheel, Willie Watkins, Hewlett McNeil Chiropractic, Magnolia One Realty, DC Computer Tech, Camp Pilgrim, Universal Hair Salon, 5 Star Auto Sales, Firm Design, Dalton Carpet, Jeff Justice Realty, Undavita Boutique, Forever Yours Tattoo Gallery. Retail businesses in downtown are often difficult to maintain because of mall and online competition, but this business has managed to make a lasting impression on Douglasville shoppers, providing specialty clothing, accessories, and jewelry at affordable prices and with excellent customer service. This business is a downtown treasure. This year's award goes to Unda Vida Boutique, located at 6706 Broad Street.
Take pictures afterwards.
Our next presenter will be Josh Sturman.
All right. Let's get this up. Yeah. Okay. The 2013 DDA Service Area Best 10-plus years old business nominees are Lamar's Main Street Collision, Gold's Gym Hospital Drive, Douglasville School of Art, Precedence Incorporated, Medicine Shop, the Hightower Memorial Chapel, Atlanta West Hair, Armstrong Land Survey, West Georgia Family Dentistry, Moreland Hair Salon, Anchor Heating and Air, and Gable Sporting Goods. The winning business for this category is very proud of their facilities and their employees. They have been serving the Douglasville area since 1928. This family-owned and operated business provides professional and dignified funeral and cremation services in our West Georgia area. This year's award goes to Hightower Memorial Chapel. Our next presenter will be Michelle Clark.
Good evening. The 2013 DDA Service Area Best Restaurant nominees are Island Bar and Grill, Fabiano's, Takira Jalisco, Dinner's Ready, Irish Bread Pub, Gumbo's, Hudson Hickory House, Chef Rick's Homestyle Cooking, and El Texano. The winning business of this category opened in spring 2008. Located in the heart of historic downtown, they pride themselves in offering something for everyone. They have established themselves as one of Douglasville's most popular restaurants. They are active participants in the community by hosting charity events, concerts, and festivals while still providing great food and drinks. This year's award goes to the Irish Bread Pub. Larry? Oh, our next presenter will be Larry Yaki.
I just, oh. Surprise!
Well, I'm still gonna talk.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can hear all about Dennis.
It's the 2012 Volunteer Award. The Volunteer Award is given to Main Street volunteer who has gone above and beyond to help complete the work plans and encourage revitalization. Is this the right one? Yeah.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Revitalization in the DDA service area. This individual has been participating in the Main Street program for many years as a volunteer and as a downtown professional. He has served on the Main Street committees, been a friend of Main Street business sponsor, and a volunteer work at many of the downtown events and activities. He has generously donated his time, talents, and ideas towards the of the Main Street work plans projects, including most recently the Meals and Deals training program, the tour of homes, and the Small Business Academy. Besides being a downtown volunteer, he currently serves on the Historic Preservation Commission. We are grateful for all that his individual has contributed to our Main Street program, downtown development efforts, and community, and would like to present Dennis Connolly with the Downtown Volunteer of the Year Award. Accepting the award for Dennis is his faithful employee of 15 years, Donna Cox.
Congratulations, Dennis.
You are quite kind. Dennis would love to be here to get this. Unfortunately, he's in Paris.
It's me. Okay. You can introduce me if you'd like.
Okay, our next presenter is going to be Stephanie Ellsworth, Small Business Academy graduates.
I'm really excited to stand here and talk about our Small Business Academy. A couple years ago, Marcia Hampton and I were having a conversation, and we were having which usually turns into a brainstorming session for the two of us. And we came up with the idea of putting together a training program that would get entrepreneurs' ideas out of their head onto pieces of paper so that they can put together a business plan so that they can better approach a financial institution to get funding for their idea, or approach a possible business owner, a possible building owner, hopefully in our downtown, and get a business started for themselves. We were very successful last year in our program, and we decided to continue with it this year. So I am going to be presenting our 2013 Small Business Academy graduates with their certificates that were signed by our mayor, who has also been a part of this process as well. So I'm very excited. As I call your name, if you'll come up, and Barry, would you give me a little hand on this one? And hand in, they're all in the pile there. Come up and we'll get your certificate, and then I'd like to take a quick picture of all of you together. So Allison Grant, Calvin Thompson, Shantessa Swain, Cynthia Adams, DeAndre Clark, DeAndre Marshall, Dominique Runeo, Doreen Brown, Eureka Mason, Felita Boykin, Jason Croft, Jennifer Hickson, Jessica Drew, Katrina Moore, Linda Lozier, Lori Bush, Sonia Williams, and Tamika Jenkins. While everyone's coming forward, I want to let you guys know that this is a fabulous group of people. They plotted and prodded through their business plans and were able to take their ideas and really flesh them out. And some of them learned some valuable lessons from our training this year. And I would like to turn the time over to two of our graduates to talk just a little bit about their experience in this program. First, we're going to hear from Calvin Thompson, and then he will be followed by Jason Croft.
It's a good thing I lost my speech, or will be here a lot longer. So this is going to be from the hip. You know, it's just funny how the spur of the moment can change a direction. Back in '89, I was living in Detroit. With the snow and ice and all that comes with that. Well, my goal and my dream at the time was to move to Nashville and just bust the doors wide open. I'm the new talent. That was my dream. So I got all my little cassettes, back when we had cassettes, my little bios. I had everything piled up in these little envelopes, packed my bag. I was ready to go. I was going to take the Greyhound bus to Nashville. Then one night, we had an ice storm, rain and then ice. The news said we had icy roads from Detroit all the way through Nashville. And they had cars and trucks lined up on the road, couldn't go anywhere. I thought, well, that stinks. So I had to come up with another plan. As soon as some of the ice thawed, I decided I'm just going to come to Atlanta, meet a friend of mine, spend a weekend, and go back home and get back to Nashville, because that was the dream and the goal. Well, I went to a dinner theater they had in Norcross at the time, got offered a job, and I decided to stay. And I thought, in the back of my mind, I'm still getting to Nashville. As soon as the roads thaw out, but I'm just going to do it from Atlanta. Started working here in Norcross. The dinner theater lasted about a year. After it was done, I thought, I'm going back home. Went back home and kept my bags packed and moved back to Atlanta. So I thought, well, I guess I'm here. Time went by. Back in '98, for some reason, I wanted to be a parent. I wanted to adopt a child. Well, I kept running into this one guy who had something to do with adoptions. A couple years later, I ended up taking some classes and adopted a child. He was a year old at the time. I worked for Federal Express. worked second shift, could not find daycare for my child. Okay, there's a lot of parts of the story missing. You're gonna have to get the notes later, so I'm trying to move it up. So I was trying to find daycare for my child. So I stood in my driveway one day and I said, I can't find any daycare for my child because I work second shift. I was mad. And I heard this voice say, well, won't you open something? All right, I will. I'm gonna do it. Had no clue how to do this. So I thought, well, I need to find out what I need first to do. So I wanted to get into school to find out about educating a child, teaching a child. Got laid off from work. Decided to put that dream on hold. Find a job, which I did. And now I got a baby. And I was an expert in changing diapers. I had to learn. As soon as I got on my feet, I'm going to school so I can learn how to take care of a child and open this child care center. Got laid off a second time. So that dream got put on hold again. Got a job. I was making $70 a week. And guess what? The daycare was $70 a week. So I had enough to pay for that daycare. But my dream was to open my own, just so a person like me who was a single dad didn't have to worry about someone taking care of my child. Third time I got laid off. Man, this is getting old. But each time I got laid off was at Christmas time. So it took me a while to start liking Christmas again for that reason. So I finally found a job driving school bus. That's what I do. I love doing it. But my dream was to open this child care because my son is getting older, but other people in my situation, single parent, who has a hard time trying to raise that child on the pennies they were bringing home. How do I make this an affordable thing for people like myself? Everyone can't afford $2,000 a week for a child, which I thought it was because it was so high. When you're not making money, it can be $1 million. It doesn't matter. So third time was a charm. I ended up going to school, went to West Central Tech, because I'm gonna get my degree, because I wanna learn how to take care of these children. And as I went through, I learned how to take care of not only my own, but I had to learn how to rethink what I thought about children. I still want this daycare. It took me 4 years to get my associates, 1 or 2 classes at a time. But my dream was getting closer. Once I went across, got that degree, as soon as I stepped off, well, 2 things I thought about when I went across that stage. Don't trip, because they got cameras. The second thing was, as soon as I got off that stage, I'm not done yet. Man, that stinks. I thought I had the degree. The next day, I went across from West Central Tech to Strayer. I enrolled for the fall. Man, it was gonna be a long time. But now, my focus is on business. Okay, I know how to take care of a child. How do I run a business? I don't know. And I'm just praying, God, Christmas coming, please don't let me get laid off again. Because I have a child, and I gotta take care of this kid. But now I'm thinking about the other children that need my help. What can I do for them? I have no idea, but I'm gonna learn something at Strayer. Finally, it took me 4 years. I graduate in 11 days, get my degree in business. But I'm not done. Now I want my master's. I want that master's, but it's gonna take a while. But while I'm getting that master's, I was talking with Stephanie about this class. I thought, you know what? I need to come and learn some things. And what I've learned is that my directions are changing again. Because now I want more than just a place for children to be. I want to be able to reach out to the foster care kids, to adoption kids. I want to reach out to the at-risk children. It's a lot of things I want to do. Praying that I still keep my job every Christmas and not get laid off again. But I have a degree. All I really wanted was opportunities. I wanted an opportunity, other than just moving a box from here to there with FedEx, I wanted opportunities. I wanted my child to see that there was opportunities out there. There gotta be more to it than having a building with children in it. You have to be able to provide them with not only a place to be, education, a safe environment, you gotta also offer them opportunities. I came down here to spend a weekend, ended up staying. But while I'm here, Nashville is still in the back of my brain, but I'm gonna run a business. I wanna be able to open up world opportunity for my child. That's my son right there, Tobias, wave at everybody. He was the reason for the change, because at the time I was thinking about adoption was the year he was born. And I looked back and said, you know, had I went to Nashville, I probably would have been with the big wigs, you know, Tim McGraw and all those people. But he needed me in my life. I needed him in mine. That's why the direction would change. Now I can look back and see that's why I'm here. But while I'm here, I want to make it count. If you see my business up in the next year or so, just bring your children. We'll take care of them. I got to be careful because some of y'all going to bring some children. I'm like, Lord, have mercy. But opportunities are open. I'm ready for it. But now I'm ready for my MBA and my doctorate. So y'all pray for me. Thank you.
Well, that's a hard one to come after. So let's see. The reasoning for this class is for the last few years, I've had a passion. I wanted to own my own restaurant. And I thought I had a hard head. I thought I knew everything. I thought that I could do it with no problem. And I actually looked at places, actually got in contract negotiations, and actually started considering it. And I was talking to Stephanie, and I've been working with the city, with Marcia and the city for a few years now. I was the head chef at the Irish Pub when it first began in '08 and got to know everybody here with the city. And she was saying, hey, this class, I was the first enrollee last year about August. I said, sign me up. So we signed up because I thought I knew everything. Well, how surprising, on the first class, my bubble got popped and I got put down back to level. And for Mr. Mayor, I have read the book. The book is what I'm talking about. It's called The E-Myth by Mark Gruber. And what it is, it tells you how businesses, first small businesses, how they fail. And you're thinking you're like you know everything. And basically your assumptions are not going to succeed in a business. You think you're a business owner when in reality you're not. And the mayor brought out some good points, and I had to sit down and say, I think I almost got myself in trouble. Let me make myself wiser and take these teachings that we learned from Todd Asnew, Chairman Kelly Robinson, and all these other people that came in, and Marcia Hampton was one of the, you know, let their expertise make me wiser in the decisions that I made. And this class that Marcia and Stephanie that they put together is a fantastic. Learning the business plan process, learning what you got to do. Like I said, I thought I knew, hey, I can do it. Yeah, no. I realized being a business owner and working as a business is two different things. If you have the wrong mindset and you go into this the wrong way, that's why businesses fail, because your illusions that you think you have, you don't have. And you're hard-headed that you won't accept help or anything is really. In this class, from day one, from when the mayor spoke all the way down to the last class, I learned something new each and every day, and I realized that I wasn't ready to take on that responsibility. And I wasn't ready to risk my family, my everything that I've worked hard for now, risk losing it because I made a stupid decision. But the class was really eye-opener to me, and it's made me go some different avenues and better situated for the business. And being at Douglas County, and it's really, this city, I work with Cobb County, I work in Marietta, they don't have nothing on this city. Douglasville and Douglas County has a support system. You have a mayor that is small business. I mean, I say he's a fanatic about it. It's all about small businesses because that's what Douglasville needs. It needs people as a group of community to come together. And then the city council and Marcia and Stephanie and everybody that works together, for them to take their time out and to train us, people they don't even know, to say, hey, we will help you with your business, and tie us into all these vast people that with their expertise and knowledge that you will succeed. And that's the opportunity with this class, and I think it's very, very worth, if you know people that are talking about this, say, hey, you need to talk to Marcia or Stephanie, take this class. If that's one thing that I can say is take this class, learn the knowledge that is offered in this class, take the expertise from everybody. Because like the mayor said, if you go in thinking that you're a businessman, you might as well not even open the doors. You have to know you're a businessman. You have to know where you're going, and you have to know, following that business plan, what you're doing, so that you're not, before you even open the doors, that you're not behind and you're already in trouble. But again, thank you, Stephanie, for allowing me to take the class, and Marcia for y'all having it, and the mayor for supporting it. Because without the support of the city, this class is not possible. Now we have potential 20 new businesses to bring to Douglasville to help economics, to bring people, to bring jobs, to bring it in here. And that's what we need. So again, thank you to the businesses, and thank you for the leadership that has been now at Douglasville. And thank you for allowing me to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Calvin. Thank you, Jason. And congratulations, class of 2013 Small Business Academy. You guys can have a seat. Before we proceed with our closing remarks and our closing speaker, I just wanted to mention that currently the Conference Center Authority is in negotiation with a past graduate, last year's graduate, of Small Business Academy to get her coffee shop and bakery open in our downtown. So this is where this training goes. It goes to as a reinvestment into our community, like Jason said, to provide jobs, to provide businesses that are viable, and to revitalize our downtown and to support our infrastructure. So we will continue on with our program. And I would like to introduce Mayor Harvey Persons. He will be giving our closing remarks this evening.
I tell you what, that's some hard acts to follow. First of all, let me thank the people that have made this possible and certainly have made it very successful. But before I do that, let me thank Mr. Hembry for coming. We go back a long way. I served on the city council several years ago. We won't get into how long that was because I look that old, he doesn't. But I was able to serve on the city council when Bill was in the legislature. He always did a great job working with the city and representing the citizens, and certainly did a great job, and we thank you for those efforts and your years of service. But I want to thank the council for being here tonight. As Jason said, it takes a lot of people working together to make a community successful, to make an event like this successful. But pulling together, working. Sure, we talk about, and you hear me say often, I get to get up and make the speeches and all, but it's a lot of people pulling together, working together to make this community what it is. Bill talked about being in different parts of the world, seeing the communities wake up. I've done that on many occasions. I've had the good fortune of living in this community for 35 years. And I know you're saying, he doesn't look old enough for that. But trust me, I am. And I get up early and I've run the streets of Douglasville. I've run through these cemeteries. I've looked at the street markers and think about the people that have come before us to get it to where we are now. But now it's our turn. It's your turn. Where are we going to take it? What are we going to do with it? And Bill talked about some of these other communities. Not only have I had the good fortune of running the streets of Douglasville, but I've run the streets of New York City. I've run downtown Manhattan, Times Square, the East River, Central City Park in the early morning hours and watched the communities come up or wake up and become alive. Had the good fortune to be able to spend a little over 3 weeks in China back 2 or 3 years ago. And every morning did the same thing. Got up early, 5:30, ran the streets of a lot of the cities that Bill mentioned and some that he didn't. Shanghai, a little town called Chongqing. I don't know, how many of you have ever heard of a little town called Chongqing? Chongqing, China. Small town, depending on what you compare it to. 33 million people. 33 million people. Got to see a lot of the cities run the streets, watch the people get up, come alive, communities come alive. But you know where I come back to every single time? Douglasville, Georgia. It's one of the greatest places in America to me to live. But what makes it that community? What makes it great? Look around you. Look at the people sitting next to you. The elected officials, the business owners, the staff that help make this great city run and function and operate, and all the accolades that you've heard. But the businesses that have been here for years, the new businesses that are coming into existence, that's what makes America what it is. People working together, communities pulling together, making it work. Serving their community, serving their fellow man, reaching out, touching, helping somebody else, lift somebody else up. And that's what makes our community great. All of us pulling together, working together to make it happen. So I congratulate the small businesses that have gone through the class. Jason mentioned some kind words, and thank you for those. I've known Jason for some time now. Does a great job. But I applaud you for going through the class, as with all of you that went through that class. Because you see, being a business owner is not quite as easy as some people think it is, because that's where the rubber meets the road, and that's where the buck stops. But there's a lot to it, and a lot to being a business owner. But it's all of us working together to help each other, because at some point in time, somebody helped the existing business owners. Business was mentioned that have been in our community since 1928, helping families, making a difference. You have that opportunity too. A friend of mine once said, and going back 30-something years ago in this community, when he and I were walking the streets, walking the cemeteries, looking at the street signs, and rattling off some of the names, he said, you know, our parents are too old. Our kids are too young. He said, it's our turn. It's your turn. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to help make this community be? It's your turn to do it. And I applaud you for taking an active part in it. The existing businesses, the ones that are thinking about businesses, the new businesses, and each and every one of you in this room, the older businesses, the elected officials. Because, see, it's all about service and giving back and helping. But let me tell you a little bit, and let me have a few brief words about the city's commitment to downtown development. First of all, let me ask you a question. Is downtown development important to the city of Douglasville? Really, when you really get right down to it, it's only small businesses. It's only small businesses in downtown Douglasville. There's no big Kia plant. There's no big Caterpillar plant. You're only small businesses. What difference can you make? And some of you are sitting out there thinking, where in the world is he going with this? And some of you may be getting a little offended that because you're not sure where I'm going with it. But I'm going to tell you, because I'm going to applaud you as small businesses. Let me tell you a little bit about how important you really are and how important small business is, because that, ladies and gentlemen, is the backbone of America. Small business is the backbone of America. You're what make America run. Jobs and household income. I'm going to give you some small facts. Some of you have already heard this before, so you bear with me. Those that haven't, there's some very interesting facts. Listen to this. 100% of all net job growth in America since December of 2001 has been within firms employing fewer than, how many people would you guess? 1,000? 2,000? 50. 100% of all net job growth from firms employing less than 50 people. On a cumulative basis, companies larger than 50 employees added a single net job in the last decade. That's how important you are. You're the people, through hard work, dedication, passion, commitment to your community, your families, America, You're the ones adding the jobs. You're the one driving America. You're the one driving our communities. You're the ones making it work. If small firms had cut jobs at the same rate as the giant firms have, there would be another, listen to this, 3,868,000 people unemployed in America today. Think about that. That's how important you are. That's the difference you make in Douglasville, in our community, and communities throughout America. You're important to the city of Douglasville. We believe in you, and we're committed to you. Listen to this. 87% of all businesses in Georgia employ fewer than, how many people would you guess? 100? 75? 50? How about 20? Let me read that to you again. 87% of all businesses in Georgia employ fewer than 20 people. That's how important you are. Most of the people in this room, how many people in this room employ more than 20 people? Look around you. One hand. And Mr. Tyser, we appreciate and applaud you. That's what drives America. Think about that. 87% of all businesses in Georgia employ fewer than 20 people. That's how important you are. Now, let's talk about Main Street, Douglasville. And let's talk about what it is. Downtown Douglasville is a nationally recognized historic district and a designated Main Street city. The Main Street four-point approach is the foundation for our local initiatives to revitalize their districts by leveraging what? Local assets. Local assets. The people that are making it work. You. From cultural or architectural heritage to local enterprises and community pride. Pride in the community that you live in, you work in, you play in, and you're a part of. Like I said, I've been in Douglasville, in Douglasville, in Douglas County for 35 years. I could have lived anywhere else in the Atlanta metropolitan area that I wanted to make a living. I've never made one nickel of my living to support my family or household in Douglasville or Douglas County, but I choose to stay here, live here, work here, and play here because I believe in this community just like each and every one of you do, and you've committed to it. The Main Street program has a broad impact that includes sustainability. Main Street Douglasville promotes sustainability. Listen to this. According to the U.S. Energy Information Statistics Center, 48% of America's greenhouse gas emissions come from this construction and operation of buildings. Savings from reuse and historic preservation are between 4 and 46% over new construction when comparing buildings with the same energy performance level. Historic preservation. What's the big deal? It's just a bunch of old buildings, a bunch of old people. I are one of them. But historic preservation, why is that important? As a business? You got to be kidding. Let me tell you how important it is. Historic preservation as an industry in the state of Georgia in the year 2010 was a $6.2 billion a year industry. Not million, billion. In 2010, in the depths of the recession that supposedly we're in that the media just loves. A lot of people working though. 6.2 billion people spending their money on historic preservation as an industry in tourism in the state of Georgia. Main Street, Douglasville's focus on historic preservation is an important component of any effort to build sustainable communities. And that's what we're looking for. Each and every one of you are looking for I think the same thing. Sustainable community. Place you want to live in. Place you take pride in. Place you want to live in, work in, play in, raise your families in. That's what we're looking for. That's what America's looking for. And each and every one of you are part of that and help make it work. And I applaud you for those efforts. Conservation and improvement of our existing built resources, including reuse of historic and other buildings, greening the existing building stock, and reinvestment in older historic communities is critical to making our urban place greener, more livable, and healthier. We want to maintain what we've got, but we want to build new. But it's the two working together. You need both. We want to preserve the old, but build the new, learn to live, work together with our businesses. Heritage and community. Main Street Douglasville fosters a sense of place and creates a walkable, connected downtown, both commercial and residential district. Some of you may have seen yesterday, we opened up some of our new sidewalks that the city has built through grants. But for what reason? To connect, to be able to walk, get about our downtown areas, talk with one another, connect with one another. It's all about that walkability, sustainability, and Douglasville, along with you, is doing its part to make that happen. It also creates the character-rich, and we have a lot of that, and human-scale communities that attract people to more sustainable urban living patterns. We're rich in history. Back last year about this time, a lady in the crowd asked me if I'd ever seen the cemetery. And I said, yeah, I've seen the cemetery. I've walked through it, run through it. She said, I'm talking about the oldest downtown cemetery in Douglasville, where our founders are born. I lived here 35 years. I said, no. She said, well, come on. She takes me over there, shows it to me. And thank you, Ms. Hudson, for doing that. If you've never been, I'm sure she'll give you the tour. Back years ago, when I first got on the council, there's another young lady in the crowd, loaded me up in her big old Lincoln Town car, rode me around, showed me the history, told me all about it. Bet you can't guess who that was. I think she got rid of the town car, but she's still here. And if you want to go for a ride and let her show you downtown Douglasville and the rich history that we have, Miss Dot, you're available? Take my word for it. I went on one of those rides. Get her to walk with you. But the Main Street program is volunteer-driven, so its success is facilitated by community stakeholders. Just like you. We just had a stakeholders meeting a little bit earlier to talk about what? Our community and where we want to take it. The strategic plan for where our community is going. And each and every one of you play a very vital part in it. But it's people that are willing to invest their time and their resources to downtown and the revitalization of Douglasville. Economic development. Main Street encourages economic development through creative entrepreneurship and local ownership of small businesses. We've heard evidence of that tonight. People that are willing to invest their time. City is willing to invest its time. We have the people that are committed to it. It increases property values. This in turn increased economic return from our heritage and cultural tourism helps build and promote our city. Let me give you some quick numbers and tell you a little bit about the economic development of the Douglasville Main Street program in 2012. Private improvement investment totaled $195,000 in downtown Douglasville. That was 147% over what the average is throughout the state. Public investment improvement, $17,000. That was a little bit lower. It was only about 19% of what the statewide average is. But listen to these numbers. Number of volunteer hours, 2,239. That was 99% of what the average is throughout Georgia. We're right up there with them. Number of promotional events, 604. We rank in 95% of the average for what's done around the state. Number of attendees, 40,109, 83% of the average. Number of new businesses, 14. We're 259% of what the average is throughout the state. Number of jobs, new jobs created, 113. We're 314% of what the average is around the state of Georgia. So the point of that is you're doing a great job of working to revitalize, create jobs, and have investment. Total public-private investment in 2012 with just the Douglasville Downtown Main Street program, $202,000. Let me tell you some of the benefits. You say, what are the benefits of being in downtown Douglasville? Well, let me tell you. Incentives exclusive to the downtown development service area, centrally located in the heart of the city, near major city events, regional shopping, easy access to traffic, educational opportunities. It goes on and on and on. Commercial rental rates, $8 to $12 a square foot in the downtown service area versus $15 to $21 per square foot outside the city. Marketing and business development training, as you've seen evidence by tonight, the programs that are offered, the city will work with you to help grow your businesses, help get them established. Free, unlimited parking, and the highest restaurant gross revenues per square foot in the county. The beautiful downtown conference center. There's a lot of things that we have to offer in Douglasville. Two things, and I'm going to brag on a couple of folks. You've seen two of them up here tonight. Miss Marcia Hampton, Miss Stephanie Allworth. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but two of the brightest young ladies in the state of Georgia when it comes to working with downtown developments. Certifications they have are statewide recognized. Miss Marcia is one of only 9 in the state with certification level she has. And Stephanie, where are you? Stephanie's one of only, I think, is it 13 or 14 in the state with the certification level she has. Statewide recognized. And what it shows, they've put the time, the energies, and the effort into helping make you successful. And last but not least, the people. We have some of the greatest people to me in America. And like I said, I've had the good fortune, the opportunity to travel all over the country in a large, large part of this world. And I keep coming back to Douglasville. We have some great people here. Look around you. These are what make it work. These are what make it great. I applaud you for your efforts. And in closing, I want to thank the downtown service area businesses for their continued contribution to Douglasville's economy through excellence in providing goods, services, and jobs in downtown Douglasville. Because remember, you're the ones that make it work. Remember, 87% of the businesses in Georgia only employ 20 people. Each and every one, only one person in this crowd tonight employs more, and we applaud you for that, not to take away from it. But it's the people in Douglasville that make it work. I want to thank the Downtown Development Authority for their downtown revitalization efforts. I want to thank the community development staff and the Main Street community volunteers for their service and dedication to the downtown Douglasville vision. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard me say on more than one occasion, working together, we're going to make it one of the premier. We're already a great city and a great community, but we're going to make it one of the premier places in America to live, work, play, and raise a family. And we're going to do it with each and every one of you and the efforts that you put forth to make it happen. Thank you for being here. I applaud your efforts, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thus concludes our evening. Thank you for all attending this evening.